Have you listened to your breath today? And can listening to your breath allow for a transformation to happen within you? When I was in my early 20s, I lived in this town in Moab, Utah. This town was all about having fun, enjoying life, and playing hard. And that's exactly what I was doing. And then one night, I called the closest friend that I had, and I said, "You need to come over here." Without hesitation, 5 minutes later, she opened my front door, and she had a view straight to my bathroom where I was sitting. I was shaking, and I was crying, and I was scared. When she walked into the bathroom, she saw sitting on the counter the stick that had 2 pink little lines on it, which meant that I was pregnant. And when I let the biological dad know about this, his response was more or less, "Good luck." So feeling fairly rejected, I moved home. I came back to Yakima. I moved in with my mother. And I had a job, but I was unable to keep it because the illness of the first trimester was too much. So I let it go, and this left far too much time to sit at home and let thoughts of negativeness, thoughts of fear, instability, isolation, and a whole lot of stress to creep in. And this lasted well into my 3rd trimester, at a time when I needed to be getting healthy and active and prepare myself for this labor and delivery. It's about the same time the biological dad decided that, well, he wanted to come around and be there for this. And I had talked with my midwife and had every hope to have a completely natural birth. But we decided that I would be induced 4 days before my due date because this is what the time that fit into his schedule. And so that day that I was induced, after 20 hours of labor, my baby got stuck when I started to push. And my midwife, she tried the vacuum extraction not only once, not twice, but 3 times. And there was still no progress. So it took a doctor to come in and use those forceps to get my 9-pound baby in my arms. A week after that, the biological dad leaves. And it was just me and my babe. And I had always had hopes to be a mother, but I didn't expect it to be like this. So a few years passed, and I was at work, and I got into a conversation about this new yoga studio that opened in town. The most intriguing thing about this studio was that it was a hot studio. I thought, I'll get a great workout. I'll stretch, I'll feel good, I'll sweat. I had no idea what was going to happen to me that day. I signed up for class, and when I showed up, everyone is lying on the ground, lying on their mats, and it looks like they're sleeping. So I just roll my mat out into the only space available, and I sit down, and I patiently wait. The instructor comes in, the room is dark, it's hot, and we move through this class, and she comes to the end, she says, "It's time for your final posture. Please find your way into Shavasana." Now, Shavasana is translated into corpse pose, where you literally practice a death. Not in the sense that you're dying, but in the sense that you are leaving negativeness that maybe has built up. You are letting go of things that have happened that no longer serve you. And with the control of your breath, you allow for yourself to find a silence. For the first time in 4 years, when I was lying in that Shavasana, see if it will move here, my mind was silent. I had no worries. I had no fears, and I had no stress. When I left my mat that day, it felt like, for the first time, I had taken a breath, a real breath, for 4 years. I had no idea that I had been holding on to that. And then I needed more breath. I needed to be able to breathe every day. So I continued to go to class. I found myself 6 months later in teacher training. And that's when they really get to the nitty-gritty of you. So you can bring this gift to the world. And I realized, or often wondered, when I was in that training, if I would have had this control of my breath, if I would have known what it was like to guide into a place of stillness, would my first pregnancy experience been better? Would my labor have gone easier if I would have known how to let go? 6 months ago, I gave birth to my second baby. When I was lying in that delivery room, the room was dark. It was quiet. I was holding the hand of my fiance, and the only thing I could hear is my breath the entire time during labor. And if I was holding my breath, all I heard was air and breathing. So if you would, give me a moment to guide you into a place of silence within yourself. Sit tall in your chair, uncross your legs, and shut down your eyes, but lift your chin and relax your shoulders. And just take a moment to be still, to truly listen to your breath. As you activate your core by pulling your navel towards your spine and up towards your heart, find your next inhale through your nose and feel your ribcage expand. When you reach the top of that breath, as you exhale, allow for your ribcage to braid back together. And just inhale. Feel new breath and new life inside. And as you exhale, let go. I would love to be able to leave you here. You can open your eyes if you'd like, or you can stay here. But let me ask you again, have you listened to your breath today? And can listening to your breath allow for a transformation within you? I wholeheartedly believe yes. Thank you. Namaste.